If you are a busy mom like me, then coming up with ideas of things to make for dinner on a regular basis gets to be a pretty daunting task. And on top of that, I have 3 kids 6 and under, so getting them to agree on what they like, what they'll eat, drives me crazy. To make things even more challenging, my family has several dietary restrictions that make it really difficult to find things that we can all eat. But today I want to help you and share 3 of my go-to favorite meals, things that my family love, and more importantly, that I, as a busy working mom, can get on the table in 20 minutes or less. Hi, I'm Amber with Solutions for Simplicity. Big welcome to anyone who's new. This channel is all about helping you simplify your life, how to do everything you need to in as little time as you can so you have more time for who and what you love. Now, a quick preface is that my family, as mentioned, has several pretty severe dietary restrictions. Our family is dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, and nightshade-free, which means that we don't eat any of the foods that are in the nightshade food family. This includes common staples like potatoes, tomatoes, any kind of peppers, and spices like paprika, which are in everything. They are also the big players in many of the quick, easy meals that us moms are told to make. Pizza, spaghetti. So it's been really challenging. Our family really can't eat out or can't eat prepackaged food because almost always it includes these ingredients that we can't have. And so I've had to get really innovative to come up with ideas of foods and meals I can make that meet my family's dietary needs, but are also things that my kids will eat and that I will feel good about serving. These 3 meals that I'm gonna share with you do exactly that, and I really hope they're helpful for you. I'm gonna bring you with me into the kitchen and kind of give you the behind the scenes walkthrough as I prepare each of these meals. I hope everything makes sense, and just to clarify, I have linked in the description the blog post where I give you the recipes and the specific instructions for these 3 meals. I really hope that you like them, and I'm excited, so let's go.
So this first meal is totally our favorite. We just love it. The very first thing I do is get the water set to boil, and I always soak my rice for a while. Then when it starts to boil, I skim the scum. I'll link some information about kind of traditional cooking methods and why I do this down below. Then once it comes to a good boil, I turn the heat down to medium-low, put a cover on it, and let it cook for about another 10 minutes or so. Then, while I'm waiting for the rice, I dice up some chicken. This is chicken that I've already cooked, and I usually keep some of that on hand, or of course you can buy pre-packaged cooked chicken. You can also make this recipe with ground beef. I typically cook a couple packages of ground beef and then freeze the cooked ground beef. Then I open a can of black beans, olives, and corn. Get those ready to serve. Then I check the rice, make sure it's looking okay, just kind of make sure none of it is sticking to the bottom of the pan. Cover, let it go a couple more minutes while I dice up the lettuce. Rice is ready. Scoop some out. Then I add the toppings, and this is so great because my kids can just pick and choose what they love. And again, I do love to have avocado, but I didn't have any this time. It's seriously so good, and I'm always amazed at how much of this my kids will eat. The next thing is one-pot chicken and noodles. I start with raw chicken, dice that up into about 1-inch squares or so. Then I wash some organic carrots. I don't peel them, I just kind of rinse them off. Rinse some celery. Then I cut off the ends and slice everything up. Now here's where the fun begins. You take one pot and drizzle in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I just always guess. Add the chicken to the bottom. And it is important that everything in this dish goes into the pot in this particular order. So oil, then chicken. Then I take the spaghetti and I typically break it in half just so it fits better in the pan, and I just kind of spread it all around in opposite directions. Make sure the chicken is covered. There we go. Then on top of the noodles, you add the carrots and the celery. Then I add about 2 teaspoons of salt. Sometimes this ends up being too much, so especially if you're using regular chicken broth, a little bit less salt is probably good. I grind on some fresh cracked pepper. And then I add a good teaspoon of sugar. On top of all of that, I drizzle 1 box of chicken broth, and again, you can use the low sodium version or whatever you prefer, but you want to make sure that the seasonings kind of all get spread down in the pan and that the broth covers everything. Then turn the pan on to boil and put a lid on it to cover. Stay close by. You want to check it periodically because as soon as it does start to boil, you want to make sure the chicken isn't sticking to the bottom of the pan, and then just keep stirring all of the ingredients until they're mixed up and looking good. Put the lid back on, turn the heat down to medium-low, and then check it every maybe 5-10 minutes until it's starting to come to a thick sauce and the noodles are well cooked. There we go. I'll put the lid on and turn the heat off. Let it sit about 10 minutes before you start to dish out. And then the sauce has really thickened up and it's just so delicious. Dish this out. Make sure everybody gets a little bit of everything. This is one way that I can really get my kids to eat good veggies, and voila! Now don't mind me, I'm just gonna sneak a few bites. Now when I'm making that previous meal, I always wash a few extra pieces of celery because my kids just go crazy for this good old-fashioned favorite, ants on a log. I always use almond butter instead of peanuts. We typically stay away from peanuts as well in my family. So just cut up the celery, slide in the almond butter, top with raisins. These will be gone in no time, and it's really great for my kids to have something to snack on while I'm making the food. All right, this final meal is an oldie but a goodie. I always love to use this ceramic griddle. This has just been a life changer for me. It's totally non-stick, but it's also way healthier than the regular non-stick griddles because the base doesn't come off. I get the bacon, spread it out, turn it, and keep it cooking. Then I go ahead and start toasting some bread. We love this bread because it doesn't crumble as much as a lot of wheat-free breads do. Now we use canola mayo because it's one of the few I've found that doesn't have any soy whatsoever, and it's super delicious. Then I use some special veggie spray to wash some cucumbers. Always love to take any coatings off even though they're organic. Then I slice them up as little kind of French fry finger foods that are healthy style. Get some lettuce, put that on. This is one of the great ways that I can actually get my kids to eat their lettuce. Pile on the bacon. In my view, bacon is actually a really good, healthy, and fun food in, of course, limited quantities, but my kids go crazy for it. On the side, instead of chips or anything else, I add carrots and cucumbers. And this is seriously just such a fast, easy, fun meal that my kids always request.
All right, so those are some of the things that I feed my family when we're all really busy and tired and looking for good, healthy food that meets our dietary restrictions. Tell me in the comments below what kinds of meals you use as your go-tos for feeding your family. And if you liked this video, please be sure and give it a big thumbs up. Please also let me know if you liked this kind of video and you want to see more meal tips or other things in this genre in future videos. Once again, please also subscribe and click the bell before you go. I make new videos every week all about prioritization, productivity, time management, and that elusive thing we call work-life balance. I'll see you back next week with another new video. Until then, thanks for joining me on the journey. I just realized I was talking for like 10 minutes and didn't even have the camera turned on. We all have to stay away from dairy, gluten, soy, all right, if you liked this video, then again, don't be sure. Don't mind me.